Time for croissants. Let's go.
Croissant wasn't French at first. And ever wonder how they are so flaky? Our tale kicks off in 13th century Vienna, Austria. A simple flat dough starts its journey as a kefferl. Jewish bakers made this bread, loved by everyone for its simple, affordable ingredients. August Zang, an Austrian Jewish baker, brought it to Paris in the 19th century. Still a flat crescent-shaped bread. In 1915, French chef Sylvain Goy revealed a game-changing yeast recipe that made dough rise.
The butter used in croissants is usually European butter, which is around 80% fat. Why not just use regular butter? We need the right balance of water and fat. The steam created from the water is what actually puffs up the croissant during baking. Now, the flour you choose really matters when it comes to croissants. Croissant flour has 10% protein, helps create the right amount of gluten, and makes stretchy, elastic dough. The right amount of gluten gives the croissant just enough structure to hold together without being tough or chewy. Butter might seem solid at room temp, but it's really just a tad below melting. When butter is too cold, it's hard and brittle and will just shatter when you try to stretch it, resulting in uneven layers. But when butter is too soft, it'll squeeze out of the dough instead of forming neat sheets. Inside the oven, steam trapped between the layers inflates the flaky pockets before escaping, creating those iconic holes. When the butter is at the right temperature, it forms clean, distinct layers with the dough. This unique state is called plasticity. Add your butter block to 1/2 of the rectangle dough and fold over the dough to enclose the butter. Pinch the edges so the butter won't leak out. Now you'll roll the dough out into a rectangle and let it rest. Now resting the dough between laminations is important for 2 reasons. First, it lets the gluten relax, preventing shrinkage in the final baked product. Second, it gives the butter time to solidify and helps prevent it from oozing out during rolling or baking. After lamination involves repeatedly rolling out the dough, adding butter, folding it, and then chilling it. During this process, the butter is stretched along with the dough, creating thin sheets of butter sandwiched between layers of dough. And you want lots of layers. A typical croissant goes through 27 to 81 layers. Then fold it up into thirds like a letter. Roll it out again. Rest for at least 1 hour. Now, thanks to the gluten and butter working together, each pocket is surrounded by a thin membrane, kind of like a tiny edible balloon. Repeat that process several times. These folds create layers upon layers of flaky goodness.
All right, next up, we're gonna do a layer of color.
According to the tale, bakers working before dawn heard the Ottoman Empire tunneling beneath the city walls. They raised the alarm, saving Vienna. They supposedly shaped it like a crescent, the symbol on the Ottoman flag, so that every bite symbolized devouring the enemy. Another myth is Marie Antoinette introduced it to French culture in 1770. Nope.
First, let's talk about the magic of yeast. Yeast munch on sugar, they release carbon dioxide, which is kind of like their way of burping. This CO2 fills up tiny gas holes inside each yeast cell until it bursts open and makes 2 new cells. Yeast doubles every 90 minutes, turning a little into a whole lot fast. Sometimes if you wait too long for your dough to rise, the yeast eat all their food and then fall asleep and deflate. After the croissant dough is all layered up, it needs to rest and rise one last time before baking. This allows for consistent rise and prevents the butter from melting prematurely. Egg wash gives dough a rich color and flavor. Just mix egg yolk with a splash of milk or cream. The proteins in the egg wash brown the croissant via the Maillard reaction. And if you only use egg yolk, you'll get a deep amber color. If you use whole eggs, you'll get a golden shine. And if you use just the egg whites, the croissant will have a pale matte finish.
Thank you so much for joining me, and see me next week for German.